Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Multiplayer, the podcast by gamers for gamers. I am your host, Zach Matscanis, alongside the lover boy himself, Javier Ortiz. What's up, baby?
That's me. What's up, boy?
Oh, man, I love doing the intro twice. It is fantastic. It feels so genuine the second time.
It's always better the second time.
Everybody at home or wherever you are, remember that Multiplayer is all over the place, in your ears and in your face. You can find us at youtube.com/multiplayer and podcast services. Pick a podcast service, of your choice. It could be the Google stuff. It could be the iPhone, iTunes stuff. It could be the Spotify stuff. We're there. Just go and find us. Type in Multiplayer. You can find us on any of those services. Anyway,
yeah.
It's fantastic. And of course, those episodes come out every Wednesday. And obviously with these, we're doing this Instagram Live thing right now. I'm going to look at you, Instagram Live, for this. We're doing this Instagram Live. We'll be doing this every week now. So, you're kind of getting like early access to our full episodes where you can kind of sneak peek. You can chat with us, say hi. You can tell me how ugly I am or how ugly Hav is.
Or how handsome I am. Jesus.
Or that, I guess. Jonathan Stapleton might say that to us. He's like, oh, man, Hav, you're looking real handsome today.
Well, so are you.
But yeah, so, you can kind of hang out with us and chat with us, but also these episodes will go live on Wednesdays on those other services. So thanks for joining us. And of course, you can check us out at Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer, where you can throw us like $1 a month or a couple bucks or something. Just helps like keep the lights on, pay for things like our service for what's it called? Our podcast services. We have to pay for that.
Podcast hosting.
There it is.
That's what
That's
it's
the
called.
word
Yeah.
I was looking for. I was like, what's that word?
That thing.
Anyways, Hav, we have a good show today, and it's not about what words I'm forgetting, like hosting.
Yeah. Some Sony
That'd be a
stuff,
terrible
some
show.
Pokemans.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them Sonys. We're going to talk about them Pokemans, and some other fun news and whatnot. Hav, let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this past week, Sony had a state of play, which they haven't done in a minute. And obviously, for the people out there that don't know the Sony state of plays, that's when they just, it's basically a Nintendo Direct. They basically literally stole the the exact format Nintendo uses.
It's a good format to steal from. I mean, you copy from the best. Yeah,
and so basically, Sony had a little state of play where they were talking about some new games on the horizon that aren't Horizon.
Yeah, no Horizon. Yeah, that's the thing. It was kind of I don't want to say it was a letdown, but it was just kind of, here's some graphic updates. For me personally, I'm just like, man, these games still look really good, like Final Fantasy. It looked good on PS4, and it still looks really good for PS5. And I was really hoping maybe something God of War, or I don't know, Horizon Zero Dawn, or the next Horizon game. Just, I was hoping for some big titles, but more of a smaller, a smaller state of play.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that with most of the sort of big companies doing these directs of some sort. I felt that way kind of about Blizzard and their BlizzCon announcements. Same thing with the Nintendo Direct, and same thing with Sony here. And it's kind of for a good reason. Obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic, and people they're trying to figure things out.
It's still only February too. Well, now it's March, but I mean, like, it was February during this, so it's like, it's still early in the year.
Yeah, for sure. So we might get bigger and better announcements kind of towards what would typically be like that E3 time, that June-ish area. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the announcements we got, and this kind of goes for Sony and Nintendo and sort of everybody, it's like that, talking about the summer months, games that are coming out in like May and June.
Yeah.
Getting all those announcements out of the way, so then they can get ready for the big stuff, which hopefully we will be getting for the holidays.
For sure.
Yeah, so just to kind of go through just kind of talking through some of this stuff in the state of play here. I'll just kind of go down a list of things and sort of talk about it. None of this is in order because we're not professional at all.
Nah.
But so a couple things, Crash 4 is getting a little update. Crash 4. All right.
Of all games for a graphics update, it's just like, yep, still looks really good, really nice and cartoony, and it still looks great.
In 4K, which was like their was it the remake that they were using that for the remake for Crash. It's like it's now in 4K, whatever that means.
Those individual Bandicoot hairs look so good.
Oh yeah. I really would love for them to make like Crash 5. I want like a real Bandicoot, like realistic photorealistic Bandicoot in that game. I think that would be hilarious.
With just
I kind of want that for a lot of games with like animal themed main characters.
Sure. Like,
we were talking about that with like Ape Escape. It would just be hilarious.
Yeah, the next Star Fox game, you just see a fox with like a little frog and a bird next to him.
Dude, that would be amazing. I would love that. Either that or they did like puppets one year, kind of like Muppet puppets. Yeah. For one of those Star Fox announcements, and it's like, make a whole game with like puppets. That'd be hilarious.
That would be. I mean, it'd be very, very something really new. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so there's a little bit of a Crash 4 update. Which, by the way, did you play the new Crash?
I haven't played it yet.
Are you going to play it?
Yes.
Because I know you're like a big Crash fan.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I'm definitely going to pick it up. It's just that there's been other stuff I've been wanting to play through, and like I just finished Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm currently playing RE7 in anticipation for Village. Ooh. Yeah. So
how you liking RE7, by the way?
It's really scary. It's really scary. Like the first perspective, it's very scary.
Yeah, that game, like, man, I'm not like, I love the Resident Evil franchise, but I still haven't played RE7 because one, I don't like first person horror games. It's like it's just too in your face. Yeah. It's like give me a little bit of a let me pull back a little bit and be like in a third person perspective. It's a little much, but it's a free game on PS5, which is pretty rad.
That's why I'm playing it, and it's fun. I am enjoying it.
Nice. So basically, we'll be getting this Crash 4 update. So your Bandicoot will look even more realistic once you get around to playing it on your very pretty PS5.
Can't wait.
Oh yeah. And then so there's a weird and confusing Final Fantasy VII update, which I'm confused about. I've read it like 5 times and I'm still confused. So
graphic update.
It's
Yuffie. Yuffie, right? I think it's her name.
Yeah. So, Square Enix always does this thing where they make confusing titles for games. They've just always done it, like Bravely Default and Triangle Strategy and not all that nonsense. Octopath Traveler. Yeah. It's like what is going on with these titles? Yeah. Well, of course, they continued that by confusing Final Fantasy VII even more with Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, whatever that means.
It's just integration.
Into what? It's like
into Final Fantasy integration.
Yo, what up, Angel? Angel just hopped into our live feed.
What's up, Angel?
Yo. Angel will talk about Final Fantasy VII and how confusing the Final Fantasy Intergrade.
They're integrating a Yuffie story. That's what they're doing.
I guess. And then, so there's also, I guess Final Fantasy VII is going to be free on PlayStation Plus next month, but also it's not for PS5. You have to buy a PS5
Yeah, to get
patch.
The upgrade version, you need to buy it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So it's like, you can play it on PlayStation 5, but if you want it to look even shinier, then you have to buy the upgrade. It's like so confusing. It's just like, just make me pay for it or make it free.
Yeah, it's such a weird game to go free at this timing,
Yeah, and just to add an extra name on the Final Fantasy VII is so weird because this is clearly like part 1 of maybe a 2 or 3 part series, and then you have this like weird thing in the middle. It's like just continue to call it Final Fantasy VII, and then just like this is like a little extra free patch or whatever for a new character. it just seems Square Enix just does this with their games. It's just like so annoying. I've never understood it.
I honestly have never really understood Final Fantasy in general because I've never played it. It's always been very intimidating for me, especially when I see that they're up to like 15. I'm like, man, I just have so much to catch up on, I guess. Like, yeah. But hey, I mean, it sells well. Final Fantasy is a staple, and it's always going to be. So, yeah. Who are we to talk?
Yeah. I know. I've never been the biggest Final Fantasy fan either. It's like, I guess, if you like the series, congrats, good for you. I've never understood it.
Yeah.
But anyways, good for the people that are into that game with they're getting a new update. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So a game that I think looks really dope that I want to talk about here is it's either pronounced Sifu or Sifu, and I think it's Sifu.
Yeah, I think it's Sifu.
Yeah. It just sounds so much like seafood. It seems like a weird title, but man, that game looks dope. So for the people that didn't see the state of play, there's basically this kung fu game coming out called Sifu, and it just looks rad.
You're just beating people up.
You're just beating people up, and it's but the fighting mechanics just they look like they're really taking their time and making this rad. Like I know you're a big comic book guy, and I'm pretty sure you saw all those Netflix series.
Yeah.
But there's I think it was in Daredevil season 2 and not the Punisher season 1, but in Daredevil season 2, the Punisher is like in this like prison for some reason. I can't remember why. And there's all the prison doors open.
Yeah, he just beats them all up.
There's like 80 dudes in this like hallway. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna beat you up. And then he just spends the next 10 minutes like breaking every bone.
Yeah, they did
body.
that with like is like super famous. Like in season 1 and 2 of Daredevil, they each have like, and I think Daredevil 2, it has like a hallway scene where it's just a long hallway, and he fights like 30 people, and he just beats them all up. And that's what this game looks like. And it also reminded me a little bit of like the Arkham series, because there was a little bit of countering going on as well. And so I'm assuming it's going to be like that type of build up a really long combo and just walk down the hallway, I guess, and just beat up as many people as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of what it looks like. But I'm okay with that. It's just like and I don't know if you've, by the way, this for everybody. I'm looking at you, Instagram, looking at you, Hav, and whatever other cameras I need to look at. Go watch The Warrior on HBO Max if you haven't seen The Warrior. That show is freaking rad. And it's literally, it's just kung fu in like, turn of the century 1900.
I just added that to my watch list because it looked really cool.
One of the best shows I have like ever seen in my life.
Nice.
This show is so good, and I swear to God, if HBO doesn't make a third season, I'm gonna go kung fu on somebody.
Nice.
It's like that show's so good, and this kind of reminds me of the main character in Sifu kind of looks like the main character. Oh, did I say the Warrior? Jerry's correcting me. So Warrior.
Oh,
just Warrior.
Wow, I mean,
excuse me, Jerry. Yeah. But man, that show is rad. And so the main character in Sifu kind of looks like the main character in that show a little bit. I don't know if that's like a coincidence or they were kind of going for a look. And then it's that dude's just like martial arts and everybody in that show.
Yeah, I mean, just like that game. It was a short trailer, but it looked really cool, and I like the art style too. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah. So it's it kind of has like a cell shaded, almost like kind of like a watercolor on top of that.
Yeah,
so it's like artistically, I think it's like a really nice touch, and I think that's like a good. I think it's good for a small team like the one that made this game. The developer is escaping my brain at the moment, but it looks like they really are focusing on like the action of the game and making it fluid. And
for sure.
I think that art style really helps with them being able to just lean in on that. And of course, it seems like when you die, every time you come back, you're slightly older. So maybe by the end of this game, you're like an old grandpa.
There's like a weird like theme going on with dying and like returning, and like with that Returnal and Deathloop, it's just like there's a weird theme going on with dying and like coming back, like weird Groundhog Day kind of style. It's just it's I noticed that during the state of play. It just seemed like a central theme.
Yeah, that's pretty true actually. I didn't really connect those dots.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Maybe there's just something going on in the world where everybody's like, I wish we could do things over. Like,
I think it was just
2020 was bad.
Well, yeah, that
makes sense. Can we go back and try this all again?
I think it was just all the developers watched Groundhog Day at the same time, and they're like, you know what?
Maybe
let's make a game that has this concept.
Well, what's funny is like, developers are kind of in their own bubbles, but a lot of times, just like the way the world's kind of moving, like people just sort of like
inspired by the same ideas.
Yeah, like I don't know if like 5 years ago we had like so many like dinosaur caveman kind of things. There was Horizon and like Far Cry Primal,
yeah, you're right.
and there's like one or two others that are escaping my mind, but they all kind of had like caveman elements, or like dinosaur elements or something in that realm. Ark Survival was one of them. There was like a bunch of them that just came out right around the same time. It's just like you're cavemen or you're fighting dinosaurs or saber-toothed tigers or something.
The Jurassic period of game development.
Yeah. Which, it's like, that's great.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I want to fight dinosaurs. It's a good time. And speaking of like, all the death and returning from death, Returnal, we got some gameplay of that, which is looking pretty cool. If you don't know that game, it's Housemarque's new game, which they did like Resogun, and they're typically making like arcadey shooters, but I don't think they were selling very well, and so they're like, well, let's try and do a kind of a AAA-ish title, and so that's sort of what Returnal is. It's like a game with characters and a story, but still is like an arcadey type shooter.
I honestly wasn't expecting it when I saw the gameplay. I was like, oh, I thought it'd be something a lot different. I really thought it was going to be more something like horror related kind of thing,
Yeah. I think it kind of has those elements with these like creepy alien monster things running around.
Yeah, for sure.
But still has that sort of bullet hell sort of feel to it. That's just sort of their style. And so, the gameplay, I've been excited for this game for a while, but I've never been a fan of roguelike games. And so I'm worried about that because I'm not into like procedurally generated games. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
like there's one that I really liked, and it's definitely not near the level of development as Returnal, but it was called Rogue Legacy. It was an indie title, and I enjoyed that one. I thought that one was really fun. It's kind of in and out, and the dungeon always changes, which is cool. But this one seems much more, Returnal seems like a much more bigger game. But it also had a weird, like during the gameplay trailer, it's like, oh, you're fighting these creepy looking aliens, and look at you, you're dashing and you're shooting guns, and then all of a sudden it like slowed down. And you're like inside a Resident Evil 7 looking house. And it just
that part was looking,
and it went
cool.
to like first person, and it's like totally horror vibes. I'm like, this is what a weird, like, you just like kind of flipped me around with what you were showing me, and now I'm in this weird space of like much more closed and like creepy. So it's very interesting. If it seems like it would be a tough balance, from like run and gun action shooting to like super slow creepy vibes. Like, and it also just switched from third person to first person, so it's just like it was very weird. And I mean, curiosity is definitely peaked, but it was just weird to see it happen. Just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely seems like an interesting blend of kind of arcadey, kind of bullet hell type gameplay mixed with some like interesting story beats. So I'm still like, I'm interested. We'll see how it turns out. I'm excited to at least give it a shot,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then, we'll stay on the returning from death train here. Deathloop got a new trailer, and man, that game, that's the most excited you know, that's what I'm most excited for this year so far. Like that game is 100% like my jam.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah.
Give me like, you know, a sandbox with like a ton of enemies where I can sneak around, but I can also just, you know, jump in and just blow people away with crazy powers and weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
That is like absolutely my game.
And it looks...
They should have just called it, here you go, Zach, the game.
and it's funny too, because like the way that they showed like the gameplay in this, I thought of like Mirror's Edge as well, because like they were doing such a smooth playthrough of like, I'm up here, I'm gonna like zoom past these guys, I'm gonna toss a grenade, I'm gonna jump out a window, and I'm gonna like fast forward to this other person on the ground, shoot him in the face, and just like zip around. It just seems like whoa, it's just like you're so fast and you're doing so much at one time. It's like you're just this crazy god with a gun and a knife.
Well, that's why I love Dishonored. You know, it's basically this is just Dishonored 3 with a different coat of paint, you know. I think they're just trying to go in like a different direction with the type of games they make to see if it sells better, because Dishonored 1 and 2 are remarkable games in my opinion, and got great reviews across the board.
Yeah, they're okay.
It's just that it's okay. But there's people that like it didn't sell well. Those games didn't sell well, and so I think this is them trying to really sell that game to a wider audience, but still do something that's like in their wheelhouse with like their type of artistic, you know, touch on it. So, man, I'm super excited.
I like I like all the character designs. Like everyone they showed looked really unique, and I really like that.
Yeah, and like the art style, and man, the music in that trailer was rad. Just it sounded like something out of like James Bond or something. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's got like a 60s, 70s kind of vibe with like those old school not a criminal, not like a crime, I guess like crime drama kind of thing, you know?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's man, I'm so excited for that game. If you are anybody out there, you know, listening or watching or whatever, just, you know, please try that game. Like please try that game. You know, please, like Arcane Studios is like one of the best developers on the planet right now, in my opinion. You know, and nobody buys their games, and it breaks my heart.
I'm telling you, man, it's just Dishonored is like, it just doesn't pull you in. At least me. Yeah. You know, it
pulled me in. Like
I tried playing it on like 3 different occasions, and each time I was like, I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is, but it's just missing that special sauce. You know, it's missing that one ingredient.
Well, maybe Deathloop will do it for you.
Maybe
we'll see. I'll let you borrow my copy.
It's like I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it never hurts to try something for free, you know?
For sure.
So maybe I like it. So just a couple of quick things before we move on. I did want to mention Kena, or Kenna. I think it's Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah. Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah, that game also looks really good. I hadn't really given it too much thought, but this last trailer, once they got into so I've never been like just like a CG you know, kind of a CG trailer kind of guy. I'm like, show me some gameplay.
Right.
And, you know, they finally showed some gameplay for this game. And it's like, you know, this actually looks pretty darn good. You know, it has like some elements of Zelda in there. And, you know, as far as the combat, as far as like the art style, you know, it looks pretty cool. Like the fights look pretty rad in there.
Yeah.
You know, the art style is pretty interesting.
I mean, it looks like you're controlling a Pixar movie, and I love that. You know, it's you know, it's beautiful animation that you're watching. You know, that you're watching and playing through, and it's just like it totally looks like there wouldn't be a difference between a cutscene and gameplay. You know, it's just really pretty to look at, and you know, I love like that kind of cartoony art style. And, you know, Pixar's been doing it for years, and those movies always look fantastic. And to see it in a video game now is really, really awesome, especially now with, you know, new hardware and everything. A system could probably be able to handle that. And it looks like it'll just be like that, like a Pixar movie that you're playing through live. And, you know, it just looks really pretty. And, like, everything that you're doing, like the effects and the glowing, it just all looks really nice.
For sure. Yeah. So the one thing I read right before we started recording was it's going to be a $40 title. So I'm interested to know like how big that game is going to be. Like that's good for people's wallets,
Yeah.
but it looks like it would be like a typical like 40 to 60 hour kind of game where you're like running around an open world, kind of beating stuff up.
Yeah.
But maybe it's like something much shorter. Maybe it's like a 10-hour campaign.
Yeah, I
at
mean,
the most.
if it's something like kind of streamlined, I'm totally fine with that, to be honest. You know, like the Miles Morales game is like that. You know, it's short, it's sweet, but it's jam-packed with, you know, fun things to do. It's a really fun game. It looks really pretty. You have a really good time playing it, and it doesn't feel like a huge like commitment. Like, oh my god, there's gonna be so much more left to do in this game. I already know it. You know, it's something that you can pick up and play very easily, put down, and come right back to. And I hope that's what Kenna is as well, because I'm all for that. You know, in our you know, in 2021, time is very valuable for us. Human beings are just super chocked for time, and everyone's always busy. So like, if a game is like, you know what, it's not so much a huge commitment, and you can just kind of play through it, put it down really easily, pick it back up, and you can be done with it in maybe like a week, I'm totally fine with that.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, there's so many games that like overstay their welcome nowadays. Like, man, Cyberpunk needed to be like 10 hours long. That game did not need anything more than that. It's like the side missions in that game just made me want to go punch myself. It's just like, let this game be over. But you had to play all the stupid side missions to get the good ending. It was just like,
oh, see,
so
that's
dumb.
yeah.
I was so mad. What a waste of my time.
Too much work.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I hate fluff in games. It drives me crazy. But speaking of fluff, let's move on to fluffy animals.
Oh,
by fluffy animals, there you go. Look at that
that's
segue.
good.
By fluffy animals, I mean Pokemans. All the Pokemans.
That's a really good transition.
I know, right?
It's probably one of your best.
I'm crushing this hosting duty. Yeah. So there's some Pokemon news, and by Pokemon, you know, obviously I mean Pokemon, but I like saying Pokemans.
So
there's some Pokemon news.
I just want to come out and say that I never thought I'd say this in a sentence, but the Pokemon announcement, well, it's not bad. It's just like Post Malone did a cover of Hootie and the Blowfish's I Only Want to Be With You in a 3D animated Pokemon music video. Yeah, and that's a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life.
Which is ridiculous. Like, no joke. Like, just the other day, before the Pokemon stuff came up, Jerry was singing that Hootie and the Blowfish song, being really stupid. You know, it's just, she was just like, all I want to be with you. It's just all like, I want to be with you. I was like, what the heck is that song again? She's like, it's Hootie and the Blowfish. And I was like, God, I haven't heard from those guys in like 20 years, and nobody should. That's a terrible band. And then boom, there they are. It's a Hootie and the Blowfish. It's just,
I mean,
it's just like they just came out of nowhere.
It's just it just random. It makes no sense. I don't understand it, but I was okay with it. Like, it's just like, you know what? That's fine. Like, sure, you want to have Post Malone in a music video singing a song from the 90s that from a band that people only heard of because of this one song, then you know what? By all means.
All I want to be with you.
We should do a cover of that song now.
Oh, no, thank you. Jesus. And Lou says hi to us. What up, Lou?
Oh, what's up, Lou?
All I want to be with Lou. Well, anyways, yeah, so there was some Pokemon news. So before we get into it, Hav, what was the last Pokemon game you played?
Does Pokemon Go count?
Yeah, Pokemon Go counts.
Because I play that every day.
Oh, you still play Pokemon Go every day?
Every day I play Pokemon Go.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's
crazy.
Because basically, like, when I walk my dog, I turn it on, and I, like, you know, I'll swipe Pokestops, because the whole thing is like, you get so many Pokemon eggs in that game. Like, you get them, they just give them to you, basically. And so the only way to hatch them is to walk a certain amount of kilometers. And so, like, I basically just turn it on, put it in my pocket, and I walk my dog for like an hour, and I just hatch eggs, and and I'll catch Pokemon, and I'll swipe Pokestops as I walk by them because you get more like Pokeballs and items and stuff, and yeah, man, you gotta catch them all, and I'm still I'm still in that mindset. Like I thoroughly enjoy it. Like I don't spend money in it. It's a free game. It's it's for everything that you can do without spending money. I think it's a really great mobile game, because you can leave it turned on while you walk, and it counts your steps, and you, at the end of every week, if you walk, they have 3 tiers where it's like 5, 25, and 50 kilometers. If you walk, whichever tier, you get a certain amount of items like Pokeballs and stuff. And so like I always walk at least 25 kilometers a week, and so I get like a bunch of items for that, and so I can catch Pokemon, and I can go on raids, and I can battle, and I can catch legendary Pokemon, and yeah, I still play it.
Yeah, well, I guess you could play with Lou. He says he thought he was the only one playing.
Oh, Lou, DM me your trainer code, bro. I'll send you mine.
So as far as like mainline games, what was the last one you played?
Sword and Shield. Well, I never beat.
Oh, okay.
I never beat Sword. I have it, but I never beat it yet. But I mean, that was the last main one I played. Yeah, and I was really enjoying it. I still need to finish it, but from what I played, I was enjoying it. I really liked walking out into the world and catch Pokemon, because it seemed kind of open worldish, which is what they kind of announced for this one. But I liked it.
Cool. Well, so there's a few new Pokemon games coming out. One is a Diamond and Pearl remake, which I didn't play Diamond and Pearl, but I know there's some people out there pretty excited.
Yeah, because it's like a 3D remake too. It's like HD remaster. Looks really nice.
Yeah, with like a pretty interesting art style. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I thought it was funny. It was like when they showed it, it was like these little chibi characters that are it's really cute. Like this and it goes to the classic top down view for Pokemon. But yeah, I thought the chibi look with your little avatar is really cute.
Yeah, and I don't have too much to say about that remake, but good for the people out there that were looking for that. But then there's they showed some gameplay finally of Pokemon Snap, which I don't know if you played the original Pokemon Snap, but man, I used to love that game back in the day.
Yeah, I never played it. I watched somebody play it, but I never had it. And because when I saw somebody play it, I was like, oh, that's cool. So you take pictures, and like, yeah, you get to take pictures of Pokemon. I was like, cool. Do you battle? And they're like, well, no. I was like, oh, well, I don't want to play that. I'm not that interested.
No, you just take like rocks and throw them at Pokemon.
Yeah, basically.
Like, hey, smile for me.
It's like I did that in the Safari Zone in like Red and Blue. I could just throw rocks at Pokemon and then catch them.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was the funniest concept in a Pokemon game. It's like,
yeah, it was definitely it's always funny just like throw rocks at at Pokemon.
Yeah, it was great.
It's so silly. Don't throw rocks at animals in real life, people.
Yeah, don't make them fight either.
Yeah, not good. Pokemon's teaching kids bad things. But yeah, the new Pokemon Snap is looking pretty good. I wish I wish they kind of did something a little different with the new Pokemon Snap, just to make it feel different from the original, because the original was on rails and all that.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they had this more like free roaming, where you're like going around trying to and kind of like an open world setting, trying to take pictures of Pokemon. But I guess that's what this other new Pokemon game might kind of be, which is Pokemon Legends.
Arceus.
Arceus or Arceus. There's so many weird games today to
It's Arceus. It's Arceus.
Arceus.
Yeah.
So Pokemon Legends Arceus is basically the Pokemon game I've always wanted and never got. Which is like the opposite of what Batman is, I think. Here we always
the one you deserve, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But this is like the Pokemon game I always wanted, but I never got. It's just like an open world. Basically, give me like Breath of the Wild, but within like the Pokemon world.
Yeah.
It just has always just seemed amazing to me, where it's just like, you know, if you remember like the best parts of Breath of the Wild, you're just running around and then suddenly like you just stumble upon like a giant monster in the middle of nowhere and you're like, I guess I have to fight.
Time to fight.
Yeah, and sometimes they're too powerful and you gotta like run away, or you fight that thing for like 4 hours and break every weapon you have. And yeah, like, I've always kind of wanted that out of like a Pokemon game, where it's just, you know, you're running around, then you stumble upon like a, I don't know, what's a crazy Pokemon?
Gyarados,
like a Blastoise,
or Blastoise.
You know, just in the wild, and you're like, oh my god, what do I do? And you just throw all your Pokemon at it, trying to you know, kill this thing, or you know, make it faint, I guess.
I always see what's interesting though is like in the Pokemon games, when you're battling, if you ever lose, like if all your Pokemon faint, and it always says like, oh, you white it out, or like, so, and it makes you go right back to your closest Pokemon Center and you get all your Pokemon healed. So I wonder if in this open world, if you have no Pokemon, will it be the same thing? Will it just like, oh, you run away to the Pokemon Center? It's like, no, but I ran so far. Like that's the other thing. Like, will you be able to fly? I'm assuming you'll be able to fly to like fast travel locations, but it's like, what happens when you run out of Pokeballs in the wild? Are you just like, man, this sucks. I gotta run back all the way to a town or village and get some more Pokeballs.
Yeah. I guess.
And like, I think there's also going to probably be like motion controls when it comes to throwing the Pokeball at Pokemon, which I hope not, because it's just like, ugh, it just go totally wide. Like you're going to be missing the entire time.
Well, you know, Nintendo kind of did that with the Pokemon. Oh gosh, I want to call it Pokemon Go. It's not Pokemon Go. What's the other Pokemon game for the Switch?
Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Oh yeah, Let's Go. Pokemon Let's Go. So, you know, they added the motion controls for that. That was kind of like Pokemon for babies.
Yeah.
And a just putting that in a easy context there, but I feel like this might be, it's like, okay, we'll have our baby series and we'll have like, you know, a series for like more experienced you know, games.
Yeah.
Lou says, love the content. Keep it up. Thank you, Lou. We will try. Doing our best over here. So that's basically all the Pokemon news this week. Just wanted to kind of touch base on it because, you know, there's some cool stuff in there. I think there's kind of something in there for like every type of Pokemon fan, which is great.
Yeah, for sure.
The one I'm, you know, excited about is Pokemon Legends, and I hope that ends up being really good because that might bring me back into the series. I've been gone from that series for a long time. You know, I used to love Pokemon.
Download Pokemon Go, dude.
Yeah,
it's free.
You really do. I didn't know you were still playing.
I play it every day. I tell you what, man, one of the most magical moments of my life was when Pokemon Go first launched. It was probably the most wholesome event ever in human history, and because I was literally walking into like downtown Philly, talking to total strangers, and everyone was just trying to catch Pokemon, and it was just lovely. It was just, everybody was super cool, everyone was really friendly, and everybody knew what everybody was doing with their phones. It was like there was no shame. You know, it was just like, you're playing Pokemon, I already know you are, you don't have to answer, I know you are. So like it was great. It was one of the best gaming experiences of my life. It was really wonderful. It was just seeing like a whole community come together. And, you know, I know it's died down now, but like it's still a really fun game, I find. You know, for a mobile game, like, you know, the battle system is entertaining, and like, you know, it gives me good reason to go on long walks with my dog to, you know, get more kilometers and hatch eggs and, you know, other stuff. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. You know, and yeah, have you paid for anything in that game?
Nope.
So you've been playing this free game for like 2 or 3 years? That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's good bang for your buck right
Yeah,
there.
I mean, like, because the whole thing is like you can buy in-game currency if you want, or you can just earn it through the gameplay, which is what I do, and it's like that's perfectly fine for me. I don't, you know.
Nice, cool. Okay, let's move on. I don't have a good segue this time.
That's fine.
I crushed it on the first one. Now I'm like, I don't know what the segue is going to be. But let's move on from the Pokemans and let's talk video game movies. I was having a conversation with Jerry yesterday about video game movies, and she was like, you should do a topic on that, and I was like, that's a good idea. So let's talk video game movies. So obviously,
Mortal Kombat looks dope.
Yeah, so and that's kind of why I wanted to sort of bring this up, because there's like the Mortal Kombat movie got a new trailer the other week, and then there's things are really moving forward with that Last of Us TV show for HBO.
Yeah. Will Arnett is Sweet Tooth and Twisted Metal.
I don't know what's going on there. That just sounds not right. Nothing about that sounds right.
Watch this man bring like the performance of a lifetime.
I hope
he's somehow gonna listen to this, and he's like, "I'm gonna prove you wrong, Zach. Who are you?"
I hope I'm nobody. But I feel like at this point in time, I'd be a better Tooth than Will Arnett. Like, not a good fit for that role whatsoever.
He's gonna prove you wrong. Watch.
I hope so. I really hope so. That's like I want like a Heath Ledger as the Joker kind of performance. Like, it's so good it basically kills him.
Yeah, you'll get it.
I hope so. So, yeah. So basically, instead of like talking about a specific video game movie here, I kind of wanted to speak a little more broadly, because it's like basically what I was telling Jerry yesterday. Is like, there's no good video game movies. Because she was like, "What's your favorite video game movie?" And I was like, "That's a trick question, because there's no good video game movies. They're all bad. They're all bad.
There are some that are okay.
Yeah, like I've heard like okay things about like the Prince of Persia movie that came out a few years ago.
Not that one.
And not that one.
That's not good. That's not good.
What's a semi-decent one then?
A semi-decent one is Detective Pikachu. That's not bad.
Oh, but see, that's like a semi video game.
That's a game that's based off Pokemon.
It's true. But it's not like let's take the story of this video game and make a
Detective
movie.
Pikachu is a video game.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot. Literally, Detective Pikachu was a video game.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's the best one.
That's a good one. Sonic the Hedgehog's not bad.
Yeah, I've yet to watch that. I don't know how I feel.
It's on Hulu and it's adorable. It's again, we're not talking Oscar winners. We're talking about just cute movies. And Sonic the Hedgehog is a cute movie. It's, Ben Schwartz is funny as Sonic. Everyone's having a good time. Jim Carrey's funny as Robotnik, Eggman, and it's just it's a good time. It's a good time for the kids. That's all it is.
Yeah. Jaleel White or no one. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
give me Jaleel White.
I know he played the OG Sonic, but Ben Schwartz's Sonic is still pretty good. I like him.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah, so that one's not bad. So that's 2 right there. I will say the original Silent Hill movie. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
That's not bad. It's not great.
Not bad.
It's not great, but it's not bad. I honestly think it's one of the better ones. I think it's for a horror movie, I think it's pretty good. Like it's it's not like you're not watching, you're going like, oh my god, please end. Like I enjoyed it. I haven't seen it in like 10 years, but I know that I enjoyed it when I watched it.
That's good. You know what's actually really good? It's not a movie, it's a TV show, but the Castlevania
there you go.
series is that's really good.
Yeah, that's great.
That's really darn
excellent.
Good. Yeah. So that's probably the closest I could think of for like you transition from a video game to some sort of series.
And hopefully the Uncharted movie will be cool. It's got Tom Holland, and I think Mark Wahlberg is going to be Sully.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
I couldn't remember, because at one point, like, was it Marky Mark? He was going to play Nathan Drake.
Yeah, and then they were like,
you're too old.
Yeah, basically. pretty much. So I think he's playing Sullivan. I think. Yeah. Pretty sure he is. But yeah, like that could be entertaining. Tom Holland's a pretty good actor. Mark Wahlberg is always interesting to watch. So Marky Mark, he's always cool. Yeah, I mean, there are some. Most are bad. Well, most of them are really bad. But some are less terrible than others,
Sure. So let me just throw this at you then. What do you think would make a really good video game movie?
Oh.
Like, give me like, and you can kind of take that in a couple different directions. Give me either like a series or like give me like a like what would make that series good. Like for instance, I think like you almost need somebody from the video game world, like a video game writer, director, or somebody to come over and make the movie. Because a lot of times they get people to make these movies that don't know the video games. They don't know the core material. And that's how you get, it's the same thing with comics. It's like, if you don't know somebody that's like,
I think,
or if you don't have a director or a writer that doesn't know what they're doing, then and don't know the core material, it's always going to be bad.
I think that's going to be, I think it's a perfect example where I think moving forward, I think video game movies will become more successful because if you look, if you're going to take comic books, for example, comic book movies weren't good until probably 2002. Because then you had people involved who wrote the books and were, people read the books and were like, I'm going to help make this movie, But before then, they were not that great. And so hopefully that's the case with the video game movies moving forward. But I think, a good series or movie, I would love for Zelda to be like a Lord of the Rings kind of movie. I think that'd be awesome. Like an epic tale. And you could have it over 3 movies and just get Peter Jackson to play Breath of the Wild and be like, make that into a movie, make it awesome. But yeah, I'd love to see that, Lord of the Rings style. I think a Pixar style, Star Fox could be cool. I think that's a cool universe to explore, and I think Pixar would be. I think their art style fits well for it. I think that'd be very interesting because I think there's a lot of lore in Star Fox that a lot of people don't know about. I think it's interesting. And I also think if you following in the roots of, this is very Nintendo centric, but if you follow the roots of if you follow the Castlevania series that was made, I think a Metroid show in that vein would be awesome.
Yeah, I could get behind that. That would be pretty rad.
Yeah,
actually.
Take the people making Castlevania and do a Samus show. I think that would be I don't think you could lose with that. I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and I think in general, like going from a video game to like a live action, there's a weird disconnect where it's just like something feels off and I don't know what it is, and it's because it's live action people doing something.
Yeah.
Versus the video game characters, like Link in the Zelda games, it makes sense, you don't really question it. But if you have like a real person running around not talking to anybody,
for sure,
just going yacht.
Well, I will say, if you want to take an example of like a main character not talking, look at Mad Max with Tom Hardy. He barely spoke in that movie, but that's a very good movie.
The movie's amazing.
Yeah, so like. Maybe you can do something like that with Link. I mean, it's all about like artistic style and the talent behind it, right? It's like I think that's a very brave endeavor to be like, yeah, my main character's not going to talk. And be like, well, how are we going to be compelled? It's like, that's your job to show me.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's like you shut up and you trust me, But I think that I think it'd be very interesting. Like I think that's a bold take, and I think Mad Max is a perfect example of that. Like Tom Hardy barely speaks in that movie, and that movie's still excellent.
Yeah, and what's cool about the Zelda universe as well? It's like you have so many like fascinating, sidekick characters and stuff that. Just like in that Mad Max movie, it's like if you just have these characters surrounding Link, that are the ones that are the voices, I think you could have something pretty compelling there. Or I was even thinking about like the Legend of Zelda specifically, and how you could have the series about other characters, and just every once in a while Link like pops in and just saves the day and then like dips out again. It would be like having like a story in like Gotham City where just every once in a while Batman just comes in and punches a bunch of dudes and then dips out. And it's like,
yeah, for sure.
I think I'd be okay with that. Like, like there's always these legends of this guy that's, running around basically saving the day, but nobody ever really sees him. He's just like in and out, and then
the creature of myth.
But yeah, I would love to see like an animated Legend of Zelda series, or a Metroid series, or a Star Fox series. I know we really went Nintendo on that, but there's so many just like fascinating series in there that I don't think get the time of day as far as the stories and like expanding the universe and seeing what you could really do with it. I would love, especially Star Fox. I think that's such a fascinating world that doesn't get enough enough time to be like, here's the lore in this world, because they kind of made Star Wars with animals, and it's like, basically let me hear more about these cool characters. And I know I mentioned this on another episode, but a Fox in Space is like a YouTube series, not made by Nintendo, but somebody has like a hand drawn like Star Fox series on YouTube, and it's just awesome.
They also did I forget who did it, but there was a live action Street Fighter series on YouTube. It might have been Machinima or...
Oh yeah, that was actually pretty cool too.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Machinima.
And the guy who voiced Genji, I think, was Ryu. Gaku Space.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. I'm
pretty sure it was him. But yeah, I mean
I was even thinking about that series the other day. I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was like, that's a good one too. Like, you could definitely do something cool with, they're making a Mortal Kombat movie, but like, I think the fighting genre leans itself too, because you could make just a dope kung fu movie, martial arts movie, like, or a TV show. To be honest, like, you do either one, like a Street Fighter show, a Mortal Kombat show. I mean, a Streets of Rage show. Oh my god,
it's doable. I mean, like, go and look at like what's it called, Cobra Kai. I mean, it's basically just people. Like, that series is rad. Like, just do that with like the Street Fighter
that
series.
Show has no right to be as good as it is, to be honest.
That's what I keep saying. I'm like, this show should not be good.
Yeah.
It should not be good. That show is excellent.
Yeah, it really is. It's like this. Every time I watch, I'm like, you shouldn't be this good. Why are you this good?
Yeah, that show is awesome.
Yeah,
but it's like, you could basically do that with like Street Fighter, because it's like every episode people are just breaking out into ridiculous fights, breaking entire houses and stuff, and it makes no sense. It's like, just have that happen in like a Street Fighter series.
Man, I would love
I'd be
that.
into it.
A new Street Fighter show or movie, man, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. So okay, cool. So I think we've kind of covered the video game movie genre and what would be good. I think we always have great ideas, and somebody needs to start jotting these down.
I'm telling you, man, we need to find somebody to pitch to, because I think we got some solid ideas that could make a lot of money.
For sure. Okay, so let's move on, Hav. So we got one more segment before we.
What time's it? Game time
today. Oh, it's game time, baby. So if you haven't heard yet, if you didn't join us last week, so I have a little series of these Mario quiz cards that Jerry got me. Thank you, Jerry. That are just ridiculous flashcards with nonsense information on them.
Yeah,
for kids, I guess.
No Nintendo knowledge. It's not about the actual Mario series.
Yeah, it's about ridiculous topics like the human body and space and dogs and just history, religion. It has it all. And so,
but with pictures of Mario.
With pictures of Mario. This is a real Nintendo thing from '95, and it's ridiculous, and I love it. So we started this new series called You NintenDON'T Know Jack, where I ask Hav random questions from the Mario quiz cards. And basically the way that we're doing this is, before we started the show, I had Hav pick 3 topics, 3 genres within our quiz cards, and then I picked 3 really funny questions to ask him. So, Hav,
let's go.
Are you ready? Let me ask you, do you NintenDON'T Know Jack?
I do know Jack.
All right. So here's your first question. And this is from domestic animals.
Okay.
The genre domestic animals. Do parrots really talk? And
yes.
so there's three answers you can pick from here. Yes, they can carry on long conversations. Number 2, yes, they can learn to repeat some words. And 3, no, their cries just sound like certain words.
It would have been funny if it was like true, false, or none of the above. Like,
yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah, and then you got this silly picture of Mario.
I like that.
I'll hold it up for Instagram peeps too. So, Mario's like giving Polly a cracker, I guess. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Okay, so do parrots really talk?
I'm gonna say the second one. Yes, they can repeat. I forget the exact verbiage.
Yes, they can repeat or learn to repeat some words. Let's check the answer on the back. You're correct. Yes, parrots can learn to repeat some words. In the wild, parrots only make bird noises like their flock mates. They only talk in captivity by imitating the human voice. And as you can see, there's a little picture of a
Nice.
parrot and an ice sculpture for some reason.
Sure, why not? Ravens can do that too.
Ravens are crazy.
They are. But they're just as capable as doing that.
Yeah. And crows are super smart too. Those monster hell demons.
I live near lots of crows and ravens.
Yeah, there's a bunch like right outside my place. I feed them so that they're friends with me.
Nice.
Like, don't hurt me, crow. You have a perfect memory. I want you to remember me feeding you for the end times. Okay, you ready for your second question? Let's start with... Okay, let's do this one. This is from history. Where did tournaments originate? Just tournaments.
Just tournaments in general.
I'm assuming tournaments as far as like fighting and whatnot, Like,
sure.
Yeah, tournaments. Okay. Did they start in Germany, Bulgaria, or France?
Just random.
Here's a little picture of jousting. So maybe that's what they're talking about. Is
it's just such a
random
tournaments? Just tournaments in general. Just
tournaments in general.
Let's go with France.
Okay, let's see. The answer is France.
Oh!
2 for 2. The first tournaments, also called melees, were pretend battles between two teams of armed horsemen. The joust, an event in which two horsemen charged each other with lances trying to knock the other to the ground, was
weird.
Another tournament event. And there's a little picture of a tournament.
Such a vague question. Like,
where did tournaments originate?
It's like tournaments of what? Just a tournament.
I love Yoshi. Just like Mario on Yoshi with a joust, and then there's like a Koopa on a crocodile. Like, what crocodile is that?
It's such a random animal to choose from.
Yeah, nonsense. Okay, last question. You're 2 for 3 at the moment. Let's see if you can get this third one.
All right.
Or 2 for 2 at the moment. Let's see if we can get the third one. So, who was Anubis? Oh, and this is from Beliefs and Legends, the genre Beliefs and Legends. Who was Anubis?
God.
Was he a country and western singer? An Egyptian god of the dead?
Yep.
Or, this is a good one, a fashion model.
Fashion model? Oh, wow. I mean, I like that one. I think it's very fashionista, the Anubis. It was very...
Here's the picture.
Is it Mario in front of the hieroglyphics? That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
I'm going to have to go with the Egyptian god, clearly.
Not a country and western singer?
That was my second choice.
All right, well, let's see if you're right. Oh, country west. I'm just kidding. Anubis was the Egyptian god of the dead. Anubis, Egyptian god of the dead, was said to have a human body and the head of a jackal or wild dog. He was considered the inventor of embalming or treating the bodies of the dead to prevent decomposition.
Interesting.
they're just, and, a little picture of, I guess, Anubis doing an embalming right now. Which, I feel like, there's a doctor, an ancient Egyptian doctor that did not get credit for
really
for the first time. They're like, this god invented it. And then this dude's just like,
but it was me.
Aw.
I also invented tournaments as well. All of them.
France, give me back my credit. I'm also a country western singer. Oh, ridiculous. I love those quiz cards.
It's so silly. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I love it. And for everybody listening out there, if you like that silly series as well, let us know so we can keep doing it. So that is our show. We did it.
I like it.
All right. And 3 for 3 on the quiz cards. Fantastic.
I guess you
do know Jack.
Yeah, I do know everything.
Apparently, at least according to those quiz cards. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. Remember, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/multiplayered. You can find us on any of the podcast services of your choice. Just look for Multiplayered. You can also find us on the interwebs at Go Multiplayered on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, mostly on the Instagram side. So check us out over there. And don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered, where you can throw us like $1 or $2 a month, and it really just helps to support the show and doing this thing that we love. And I also want to give a quick shout out to our boy Victor, who won the PS5 this during our giveaway.
David Victor Hart.
Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to mail that baby off today.
Yeah.
Get that to him. So, congrats to him, and hopefully we can do more giveaways and stuff like that in the future. I have some ideas we'll offline about of what we can do for some future giveaways. Sure. Got some thoughts. So everybody stay tuned for that news. And of course, Hav, where can we find you?
Find me on Instagram at loverboy_Hav.
Oh, yeah. And you can find me at ZachMatzGanis. That's ZachMatzGanis. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and being fans of the show. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And also tell your friends, family, your mom, your grandma, your dog, to check us out, because we would love to continue to build this show, because we love making it.
Faux show.
For everybody out there. So, thanks, everybody, and we will talk to you all next week. Oh, and remember,
we love you, and you should love you too.
You should love you, and thank you so much. Peace. We here at Multiplayered would like to give a huge special thank you to Kevin Hopkins and the rest of our amazing Patreon community. If you'd like to support our podcast and get a shout out at the end of each show, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered. See you next time, players. We love ya!